the focus in this panel is that not mainly on the content side, so it's more on on the software side. How will be playlists in the future? Data-driven, external data. How should this change? Maybe what kind of this is the impact on this? Are there fixed loop in the future, or do we have some kind of generative content, whatever loops? And also, what's interesting for me is you have developers in your company. What will be the future of code writing? Last week I was too lazy to optimize something in JavaScript. I just put it in ChatGPT and tell the machine just optimize. It was just a small piece of. I was too lazy to think about it, and it was a for loop or whatever, a switch, whatever, and it optimized it.
Did it work?
Yeah, yeah.
So why are you still working on it?
It was very easy. It's just a small piece of code, and you also can say, translate it from Python to JavaScript, whatever. It works. It's translating a language. So that's very fancy and okay. Jason, let's start with the British part here. What do you think in terms of content creation, generating playlists? What are your ideas? What do you have in mind? What do you see?
Yep. Okay. It's something we've already started working on actively. I think the thing we did to prepare for this is we built a parallel platform over the last 2 years, which we call Data Sync Services, which is a completely different composable architecture that integrates in with SignageLive. And the whole premise of that is to bring in any external data source and create a common data set that we can then use to publish through third-party platforms to generate content. So in some instances, that is generating HTML5 applications. In others, it's creating videos. Where we're actually using AI is we're looking at the various generative AI platforms that allow us to augment the data and produce visual content, for example. So a good example is we've got native integration with SharePoint files or SharePoint News. So with SharePoint News, we can take news headlines, we can take the contextual content and generate supporting images that can then be approved and published to the network. The other areas that we're looking at as well is also using just relatively simple use cases, which I think I'd encourage all CMSs to look at basically, which is using AI to analyze the information that's coming into the platform. So whether that be images, videos, things like auto tagging, etc., and moving away from people having to manually do that. If they're then matched with automated workflows, then that content can be auto-distributed, to the devices. So in a kind of full workflow for us is you've got content either being entered or data that's being turned into content that's being tagged in appropriate way using AI, and then auto-distributed to the sites. And they can be, content videos can be in different languages, different avatars that suit different personas in different countries, etc. So I think the general message from our point of view around the content piece is that it's going to be an integral part of what we do going forwards.
Yeah, we have to separate. It's not just the generating the content, it's also to distribute and planning the content. Vincent, do you also have some kind of solutions or ideas or in distributing or generating whatever? I think the role of the content manager will change. It's not generating playlists and putting in content, as you said, that it's auto-tagged, whatever. Maybe in the future it's just the content manager just says, play out this movie at Black Friday, whatever, and that's it done.
Yeah, we have some examples here. I think that when we discuss AI here, we need to differentiate what is called generative AI, right, and machine learning. So these are two different things. Generative AI is very fashion these days. So Firefly from Adobe was discussed this morning. That's a very good example of a way to use generative AI in a little bit more intelligent way. With Firefly, you can generate vector-driven graphic designs, which is much better than purely pixel. And we use machine learning in different examples. For example, when we connect to an API, our platform is a no-code platform, so it's used not by developers but by designers. And so using machine learning, connecting to an API where the algorithm that we have are enabling explaining what the API is, what are the different types and so on to a designer. Who is not a developer, for example. So this is an image, this is a date, this is time, this is a description, this kind of thing. So much high level, and we do that using machine learning.
So that the designer in this case can drag and drop the fields, and he gets an easier easier understanding. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And there are many other different examples. When you are doing analytics, you are using machine learning to discover patterns in the data you are collecting. I believe right now we are more using machine learning than generative AI, which is more right now at the image, a little bit of video, and sometimes text.
And do you use some kind of AI in your solutions currently?
Yeah, we're using AI since about 3 or 4 years. So our whole platform is based on AI, literally. So since a long time, as we did switch to the platform. At the end, we developed AI, or whatever it's called, AI or machine learning. At the end, it's technology that helps to generate playlists, fully automated. So we do not do any fixed playlist as history. So we really have AI and a decision engine that decides what is to be played when. We even can interrupt content within milliseconds. So we integrated a computer vision system from Atratimo as an example, it's this company, where we trigger within milliseconds, we drive through the AI the right content to be played out, even if the possibility to interrupt running content if it's allowed to. And AI at the end helps us to integrate and use it in the whole platform. We don't say AI is just for image generation. Me personally, I love to work with that. And for those guys that were over in the theater, all the content that you see that we generated with AI for this event, but it's super dangerous because at the end you need somebody visually controlling the content. I was doing something for the automotive panel, and Mercedes came out, Audi came out, whatever, because it's learning from the cloud. And I don't know if a real customer, the real ecosystem really want some fake or some, perhaps it's even a secret study they do for new cars. And then you see it, AI is generating it somewhere, and then you have it on the screens in your studios. So at the end, it's for me important that AI, what we talk to those days is in creativity, helps you to get ideas, to use it as a sample, but you still need human interaction to control it, especially if you're going to screens and play it out. We use AI, as I said, since 3 years also for content checking, is the right content, quality level, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But at the end, it's still human interaction needed. It helps, but I'm honestly, especially if you have a fully automated system, like our system is completely fully automated. So then depending on trigger, we just have like Instagram, we just tag content, tag data sources, tag players, tag locations. That's it. The rest is done all by the computer or the AI. And we even now decided to build a new platform, and the new player that we developed, which comes out in a few months, has a own inbuilt AI accelerator. So we do that on the player itself, so all AI generation. And the thing is just about this size, where we do everything on 4K, 6K directly on the fly. But at the end, it's just a combination how you do it, how you use the data trigger. And at the end, the AI can be a sensor technology, can be a trigger from internet or some other data sources, then decides what to play out.
Yeah, I think it's also what Vincent said, is that there is a difference between generative AI, so generating something or learning from this data, or machine learning and analytics. And Moritz, you also have built a retail platform, data platform, where you have a lot of data feeds getting into your platform from different sources. What kind of experience do you have? What kind of solutions you have, or what are you planning in kind of artificial intelligence?
Exactly. We've built our retail platform where we connect different kind of sensor solutions, software and everything to get a kind of better experience of what the customer is looking like. And we use this data as kind of prompts and we'll try to feed a local AI. So we don't are connect to the cloud and want to give advices in the playlist how it should be because we are connected to the cash register as well. We know how the shopping behavior is and we can change that. We can try, the AI can test with some A/B tests how you can interact with the customer better and see how is the shopping behavior changing, for example. And that's where we want to use that. It's kind of the same thing where we don't use it for content creation. We use it more for suggesting how you would optimize the playlist for your customer.
Mm-hmm. It's in the analytics part, so
Yeah.
you generate some kind of digital fingerprint, or how do you name it?
As well,
of
yes.
the customer, and then you try to manipulate the customer with content play out in the signage world to see if there is an uplift.
Exactly. We try to control the digital signage as well, the in-store radio system. So really how the customer is feeling in the store. And with the AI, we try to get more in the data science because we have then that much data that it's really impossible to understand that much of it. And there's a lot of help in it.
Okay, now let's look at the development part, or there are two parts from my side: a prompt building part, how to design prompts for generative AI, and on the other side, what's interesting for me is developing code. As I said at the beginning, developers are rare, expensive. Jason, do you have any kind of replacement already running?
No, I think it's definitely the co-pilot, not the pilot, which I think a lot of people are taking that position on AI. I think one of the big things as well, there was a recent study done by Cornell University on the code that was generated from ChatGPT, and one of the biggest challenges is security. You know, majority of the code that was generated would not pass any form of security discipline. And as an ISO 27001 customer working with major organisations, we need to be very, very aware of the code that's created. But I do see, you know, what the position we've taken in the organisation, and we've got an AI policy across the business in terms of the, you know, what to use and where, is effectively, you know, by all means, from a personal point of view, you know, play around with ChatGPT, do what you need to do, but by no means any form of sensitive data or any company information is to be shared. And there's been studies done where, you know, even within organisations, they've tested by putting, you know, code up into ChatGPT or dummy code and then been able to pull that back out through questions, you know, within a very short period of time. So I think from our perspective, we've got our own, you know, suite of products that we use within the business. They've also been improved as part of our ISO 27001 posture. And if they in turn are bringing AI into play, then we're encouraging the team to use those things. So, you know, whether that be the Microsoft development suites, whether it be the Amazon tools that we're using, the support stack that we have, I think operationally AI is going to have a big part to play for us as well. You know, we're already now, you know, building out our next generation of our support stack through live chat, which services every ticket and every help center article that we've ever generated as an organization. And again, it's the co-pilot, not the pilot. We're not trying to replace the person who's on there, but we're trying to upskill them with suggestions on answers for customers to actually, you know, provide that customer with a far better experience.
So it's about not replacing the developers. It's more to improving their skills, and on the other side to use third-party libraries which bring
Exactly, and I think also there's a big part to play when it comes to QA as well, and regression testing. I think there's a big opportunity there around the utilization of AI.
Vincent, do you have ideas? When will you be replaced?
We mostly use Copilot for generating unit testing. Right?
Yeah.
It's there is no damage done to the code, so it's kind of safe, and so that's how our developers are learning how to use this kind of new technologies, right? And as Jason said, I mean, we are looking also at using this kind of technologies in our support operations, right? So we have tons of support threads with a lot of knowledge embedded in these threads, and we really want to make good use of that whole historical conversation with our customers to help our future customer.
Have you tried to copy paste it to ChatGPT and ask it?
Yeah, but that's not the most convenient, right? And so we are using Zendesk, and Zendesk is not yet there. So we are asking ourselves, should we invest there, or should we wait for these guys for doing something? Kind of question.
Okay, what do you think about the political or ethnical stuff? If you look at this side, using artificial intelligence for generating content, code, manipulating customers, there's also some kind of ethical rules, or do you have some kind of discussions inside your company about that? Moritz, if you try to
Yeah, what we are thinking is we are not using ChatGPT, for example. We are using really local AI and try to build our own model, feed with our information and try to improve that. That's kind of the security we are thinking is the most important, because no data will be going outside of our model. And I think that should be the best way to secure everything, and then you don't damage your own code. You share it. You are limited in the feedback of the AI because it's fed by your own information, so you're limited at that. But we are trying to use it for template creation, for example. We are using as well a Copilot for that as well. But with that, I think we can improve that as well.
Andy?
We're working in business critical ecosystem like the cinema world, and I have exactly this experience now. Can you use AI? Who is deciding what is playing? We just launched a new cinema chain in Saudi, and as you all know, the kind of content we play back in the Saudi region is even different to Dubai. And what we have here, it's really at the end, it's human interaction needed. Because even if the law-wise, we had just a simple case was Spider-Man. Spider-Man was launched the movie, and 1 week before tickets were sold, high success. 1 week before the movie started, censor said out. And if you then not have really people knowing what kind of content you can still play, not even goes down to the ticket, what's on the ticket, that you really, this is human interaction, because AI cannot solve those issues. It's also in terms of legal elements. So what can you do? What can you show? And even AI cannot discover the simplest thing at the moment. And at the end, AI is just everybody talks about AI now because of Adobe and ChatGPT, but AI at the end is existence in 5, 6, 7 years. And the multiple companies working already, all the sensor technology companies, they all work with AI, or whatever you call it, machine learning. And I think human interaction will still be there. It will be probably a change of the profile of the people working there. And I would never go, as long as I'm still alive and working this business, to give everything to the AI.
Yeah, I agree.
This is. I mean, as I said, I was super surprised. I was adding, okay, design me a showroom for futuristic cars. And then I get things out. And somebody from Mercedes told me, be careful, this is a study we're doing at the moment. I said, it's AI. And who is responsible at the end? We even did the special insurance for this kind of stuff. We have a cybersecurity insurance, especially if you get hacked or whatever, that I'm covered in case, me as a company, I'm covered in case something happened with my customer.
In case of content generation, I also see, I had a discussion last week with somebody from Hamburg. He worked in an agency with 200 people, and they fired 1/3 because they don't need them anymore, because it's done by Gen AI now, content generation. And but let's going back to not content to the developer point of view or content point of view. You say okay, we need still people for approval. what was generated. We need to have people to check what the machine did.
I'm super afraid of the laziness of the people.
Ah.
This is what I mean. Be honest. If the robot is doing something, oh, why should I have a look on it?
Yeah.
Yes. It's the same thing if you go into the US and you just tick yes. At the end, you're landing in jail because you clicked you were a terrorist from 1942 or something.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, is a dangerous part, and you still need some interaction, and you still need people to understand what code writing is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can write something in 2 lines. You can say write the same thing in 500 lines.
Yeah.
And I think even teaching people, I see that also in my company, that you give them the tools, but do they really learn with it? Or to just say, oh, the AI can do it. I'm not needed anymore. No, it's also to understand.
Yeah.
And I think this is the most important thing, that you educate your people right and tell them, hey, work with the right code, still proper work.
Yeah, still having that accountability and ownership for what they're producing. I totally agree with that. Yeah.
This is, I think, it's most super important, especially as you said. I mean, you don't know what door is open at the end in the AI code, and if, especially for a large project, then you're having all those viruses coming in, or the back door is opening, and you have no clue because the code is coming.
The good code. So
At the end, the ChatGPT takes the code from somewhere else. Who knows that some bad people putting some fake code in it and then open up.
I agree. I think yeah, choose your AI partners wisely in terms of the language models, and I think, as you know, if you guys are going down the path of building your own, there's organisations that are launching, every day, that are actually providing filtered plagiarism-proof platforms as well for generative AI. So I think it's just, if you're going to rely on OpenAI or Midjourney or Stable Diffusion or one of the kind of common platforms you can just literally pay $10 for and log in and use every week, then I think you're going to run a risk. But so yeah, if you're going to get involved, make sure you choose someone who's reputable that can stand behind what's being produced.
I mean, all these AIs we are talking about, like Midjourney and Stable Diffusion and all that kind of stuff for image recognition, image creation, it's already filtered. There are hundreds, thousands of people who are saw the results of these AIs and say that's not legal, you can't build that, and all that kind of stuff. So these models are highly built from thousands of people with thousands of hours behind the desk, and say, okay, you can build content like that and that not because it's illegal or kind of stuff. And that most people don't know. Most people think these are just built and they're kind of know what's in our ecosystem is legal, what not, and what can be shown to people and what not.
And honestly, I mean, what's happening in America? If you go to America with all their patents, I mean, AI is doing some content creation code for you, and then somebody is coming and say, it's a software patent that I have, and you didn't know because
As they say, there's no such thing as original thought, just the design or mutation. And I think there is an element of that. If we can think about it as humans, then ultimately AI can do the same. But what we're ultimately looking to do is then to make sure there is no plagiarism, there is no challenge in terms of patents. But AI isn't taking that same level of responsibility. So if you just pass it through and say, we've developed this, you run the risk.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much from your of your point of view, because I thought, okay, maybe the developers will be irrelevant in the future, but it's true what you say. You must be sure that it is your code and you own it and it's invented in your company. That's very important.
I think, sorry, just one final point. What I remember, sorry, Vincent, was it was actually Mark, our CTO, put something on Slack the other day, which just said, don't worry, guys, our jobs are all safe, because firstly, the customer's got to know what they want in the first place to be able to tell the ChatGPT what to do. So there is an element, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but there is an element of that as well. You've got to know what you want, know what the objective is in order to actually produce the content. So.
Yeah, but things are going to improve, right? And with Copilot, I mean, you look at what is that website again? Stack Overflow, and well, let's be honest, a lot of developers are also doing copy paste, right? Okay, which
they're really good in Googling.
Okay. All right, so it's a kind of more intelligence kind of copy paste. But at the end of the day, the result of generative AI is like it's an intern. So what do you do with the work of an intern? You just put it out there? No, you control it, you select it and work like that. So Yeah, let's consider generative AI like the work of an intern, right? So
You need to control it.
Yeah, you need to control it anyway. So you need people. You need the people to control what the intern is doing. So yeah.
We're running out of time. Thank you very much. Any questions from the audience here? Anyway, the guys are still here. So thank you very much for your time and have a nice